August 2nd, 1934. At his estate in East Prussia, the 86-year-old President of Germany, the legendary war hero Field Marshal Paul von Hindenburg, drew his final breath. For months, his failing health had been the subject of intense speculation, but for one man, it was the ultimate, long-awaited opportunity. The moment the president died, Adolf Hitler moved with ruthless, calculated speed. Hours before Hindenburg had even passed away, Hitler's cabinet had secretly enacted a law that would violate the Constitution. He completely merged the offices of the Chancellor and the President, declaring himself the supreme leader of the nation under the absolute title of Führer and Reich Chancellor. This legal maneuver was the final nail in the coffin of the Weimar Republic, the fragile democratic experiment born out of the ashes of the First World War. There would be no new presidential elections, no separate branch of state control, and no constitutional limits on his executive will. Totalitarian control over the German nation was now absolute, locking millions of citizens into a monolithic dictatorship that would alter the course of human history.
How a highly civilized, modern European nation could surrender its liberty in a matter of months, we must analyze the systematic, cold-blooded dismantling of Weimar's democratic institutions. Hitler's appointment as Chancellor in January 1933 was only the first step. He immediately used the Reichstag Fire of February as a pretext to suspend basic civil liberties, including freedom of speech, assembly, and the press. A month later, through intense intimidation and political maneuvering, the Nazi Party passed the infamous Enabling Act. This crucial legislation effectively stripped the parliament of its legislative authority, granting Hitler the absolute power to bypass the Constitution and pass laws by decree. What followed was a ruthless process known as Gleichschaltung, or synchronization. One by one, independent institutions were forcefully brought into alignment with Nazi ideology. Rival political parties were officially banned or forced to dissolve. Independent trade unions were smashed, and the judicial system was thoroughly corrupted. By the summer of 1934, only two institutions possessed the power to block Hitler's path: the regular German army and the president. Through the bloody purges of the Night of the Long Knives, Hitler tamed the radical wings of his own party to satisfy the army. Then, with Hindenburg's death, the fragile democracy was completely transformed into a monolithic state apparatus.
With his absolute executive authority legally secured, Hitler immediately set the nation onto a radical, unyielding path toward global war. The new totalitarian state sought not just to govern the German people, but to fully control their thoughts, values, and daily routines. Joseph Goebbels' Ministry of Propaganda constructed a pervasive, quasi-religious cult of personality around the Führer, presenting him as the infallible savior of the German nation. Every soldier, sailor, and civil servant was forced to swear a sacred personal oath of loyalty, not to the Constitution or to the country, but to Adolf Hitler himself. The early years of the Third Reich were characterized by the complete aggressive militarization of society. Education was rewritten to emphasize racial hierarchy and physical fitness for war, while the Hitler Youth Program trained millions of boys to become future soldiers. Simultaneously, the state moved to eliminate any remaining pockets of internal dissent. The Gestapo, a ruthless secret police force, established a vast network of informants that turned neighbors against one another. Anyone suspected of political opposition, nonconformity, or cultural dissent was systematically arrested and sent to the early concentration camps, forcing an entire populace into a terrified, unified lockstep.
The date of August 2nd, 1934 stands as a permanent, haunting warning in the long history of human governance. The events of that summer morning demonstrate that a sophisticated democracy can be dismantled from the inside out, using the very legal frameworks of the state to build a tyranny. We can examine how the complete systematic loss of constitutional checks and balances led directly to the darkest, most terrifying chapters of the 20th century. When the power of the executive branch became completely unchecked, the path toward racial persecution, aggressive territorial expansion, and global warfare became unstoppable. The absolute consolidation of power under a single leader stripped away the moral guardrails of the state, resulting in the slaughter of millions on the battlefields of World War II and the systematic industrialized murder of the Holocaust. The legacy of August 2nd is an enduring proof that when a society allows its democratic institutions to be hollowed out in the name of security, national pride, or political convenience, it surrenders the ultimate shield against absolute tyranny.
Adolf Hitler's rapid rise to the position of absolute Führer remains a deeply sobering, essential study in how quickly freedom can be lost when a populace looks away. It serves as a timeless historical lesson that the survival of liberty depends not on the promises of charismatic leaders, but on the enduring strength of independent institutions and the rule of law. As we observe our modern global landscape, where democratic institutions continue to navigate deep structural pressures and executive authority is frequently re-examined, the lessons of 1934 remain vital. How do you assess the raw, complex importance of robust institutional checks and balances on executive power? Can a democracy ever safely grant extraordinary authority to a single individual during a crisis without risking its own long-term survival? We want to hear your analytical insights and unique perspectives, so please share your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you found this comprehensive historical breakdown valuable, please hit that like button, share this video to spread historical awareness, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to join us for more deep dives into the epic moments that have shaped our shared human past. Thank you for watching, stay vigilant, and we will see you in the next video.